Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. And it's day 10 of my Vlogmas series. I'm doing quite well. I can't believe I'm still managing to vlog every single day. I don't know if that's going to last till Christmas, but we can live in hope. Anyway, before I do anything else, I'm going to do today's reverse Advent contribution for my food bank bag, which is getting pretty full and pretty heavy, which is good. So today I'm going to put in 2 cans of sardines in tomato sauce. I really like these. I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, but they're a really good source of protein and those healthy omegas. And they're nice and they're quite versatile really, because you can have them on toast. Well, I think they're really nice on toast. Or you could mix them with pasta, one of my favourite things, and it sounds horrible, but everybody who's tried it said, oh, that's really nice, is it makes a kind of spaghetti sauce. It's really nice with spaghetti, and there is a recipe on BBC Good Food which adds a few other things to it, but like capers and things like that, but you don't have to, and maybe a little onion and that kind of thing, and it makes a really lovely spaghetti sauce, and it's very, very cheap and very, very easy. Anyway, today I thought I would go through 5 of my favourite frugal YouTubers. This is not the first time I've done this, but some of the YouTubers that I loved in the past have kind of come and gone. Some of them have kind of gone off the boil a bit. I think, you know, I go through phases of watching people. So these 5 are people that I always watch. I subscribe, and when I see a video come up, I'll make a point of watching them. There are others as well that I watch sometimes, but these are probably the ones I feel I've got the most in common with. I can really relate to the advice that they give, or the lives that they're living, and they're actually showing you what they do to save money day to day. They're not just, I mean, I've unsubscribed from people in the past who do all these like stern talks to people about why they're broke and all this kind of thing, but are clearly not broke themselves and clearly living the good life. And, you know, I don't like that kind of preachiness. So none of these people are preachy in the slightest, which I appreciate. And, you know, they're all different. They're all different and they're entertaining, and they all come across as likable in their own right, which I like as well. So I'm going to start with one that has only kind of just recently taken off, and I think her first video went viral. YouTube picked up on it and it did really well. So she had a flying start, and that's Ali Lives Well on Less. So I don't know if you watched her at all. She's a Scottish woman. She's an ex-teacher, and you can tell she's an ex-teacher because she explains things really, really well. And she is retired now and living on a very small pension. And I think she says, she goes through all her figures. She's very transparent. I think she's on about 700 something pounds. She doesn't have rent or mortgage. So that's her living costs for all her bills and her food and her clothing and everything. And she has a dog as well, dog food. So I feel like I've got quite a lot in common with her really. And it's her lived experience. She's, like I said before, she's not sitting on a throne telling you what you're doing wrong and what you should do. She's just saying, this is what I do, and this is what I try to do in my videos as well. I'm just saying, this is what I do, but it doesn't mean you have to do it. Some of it you'll not want to do and will think it's a bit daft, and other bits you might think, oh, that's a great idea, I wish I'd thought of it. And I'd say that the same with Ali. She does a Foodie Friday and she picks up some great bargains and shows how she batch cooks and things like that, which is really great for saving time, saving energy when you're baking things. And she fills her freezer up, and she's always got food in there. She takes advantage of cheap food when she comes across it. And she also does another weekly vlog which is more around money. And she's, like, as I say, she's very transparent with her money and her finances and how she manages. So I think it's a really helpful channel, and not just for women of a certain age, but I think it's just overall helpful really. So if you haven't subscribed to Ali Lives Well on Less, go and give her a go and tell her that I sent you. The next one, I mean, I mention this in every little roundup because I love Vivie, what Vivie did next. And Vivie is, again, she's somebody who really just lives how she lives. She lives the most frugal lifestyle of anybody. I think that other people might see themselves as living in some kind of poverty if they were living on the income that she survives on. but she is very wholly positive, and it's a choice that she's made. So she lives a very sustainable life. She lives on very little. Up until recently, she grew nearly all of her own food. Her health issues have meant that she has to move, and she's had to give up her allotment, and she's moving away from that now, and she's looking at other ways to make money. But she's quite transparent with her budget, and she is very super organised. And I always look at her and think, because I'm fairly organised, but I could be more organised. She is super organised. She knows what's in her bank account to the penny at any one day. You know, she can tell you everything that's going in and everything that's going out. And she's always looking for the best deal, but not at any cost. So she won't buy cheap. She'll buy sustainable. It's really important to her that she lives sustainably, which I can relate to as well. So she won't just buy cheap, as I say, which is good. Sorry, I've got a backache. I've got to prop myself up. So I think she's a really good example of somebody who lives on very little, but doesn't come across as missing out really on anything. So I think she's a great person to subscribe to and watch if you don't already. What I think when I watch Vivie is, I mean, she's just a warm person, and she tells interesting stories as well. But I think, God, if she can live on that, I can do better. If she can save that amount of money when she's living on so little, I can do better. So I think she's very inspirational in that way. So again, if you don't subscribe to Vivie, head on over there, tell her that I sent you. And the third one on my list is an American channel, and I think it's the only American channel on my list actually. It's Katie from Raising Wildflowers. She lives what some people might think of as quite an alternative lifestyle. She is vegan, or at least plant-based. I think she chucks in the odd egg nowadays, but only because she keeps her own chickens, and I'm sure they're rescue hens. And she lives with her husband, and she has a baby, and she has a couple of older kids. I'm not sure if they live with her now. They're kind of young adults, on a very, very small income. And she has achieved a lot through being super frugal, through being very hardworking and creative, and through budgeting to the nth degree. So even though she was a single mum at one point, she managed to buy her own house, her own property, and pay off the mortgage, and that has held her in good stead. She's only young. I don't know how old she is exactly, but I would say 30, early 30s tops. And she's obviously very intelligent. And she, like I say, you might consider her quite alternative. She lives intentionally. She's obviously quite conscious of the environment, and she loves animals. I mean, they're aiming to rescue animals, even though they're on a small income themselves. They're trying to make some space in their lives for animals. They have dogs, they have a cat, and they have a horse so far. I think, they have some hens now as well. And they live most of the time, it's summer anyway, in an RV. And I think they've maybe not found that as easy as they thought, because they've got it on their property, they've bought some land, and they were living in the summer, but they decided to go into an Airbnb for the winter because it was going to get very, very cold. But they budgeted for all that, and they budget every cent. So they know exactly where their money is going to. They live intentionally, and they save money. They put money away. So they've always got whatever they want. They can buy whatever they want within reason, you know. So Katie's actually, I think she's full of common sense. She's very wise. I wish I was as wise as her when I was her age and had done things like buy my own property and paid off the mortgage. She knows how to make money. She gives advice on different ways you can make money, including starting a YouTube channel. And hers has really taken off. When I first found her, she didn't have masses and masses of followers, and now she's really got a lot. She's doing really, really well. But she's very open about what she makes on YouTube as well. I mean, she said the other day that she actually shows her figures, and she's making really quite a lot, thousands of dollars on some of her videos now, and it is her main source of income, and her husband, so they can live the lifestyle that they want. It enables them to do that, and she's very open about that. So check out Katie at Raising Wildflowers and tell her that I sent you, and say hi. So number 4 on my list is Jane and Mike from Frugal Queen in France. And I've followed Jane for years and years and years. I've never actually met her, but I consider her a friend. We do chat sometimes on social media and on a Facebook group we belong to. And I remember her from when she wrote her blog years ago. She had a blog. She had a lot of followers then, and then I think she just got fed up with it, and it just went overnight, and we were so disappointed. Lots of us were really disappointed, and I was so pleased when I rediscovered her that she'd come back on YouTube and was now living in France with husband Mike, and they were kind of semi-retired at that point. She's an ex-teacher, another ex-teacher, and each video comes across as a really well-structured lesson. She explains things really, really well. She's obviously done a lot of research and put a lot of thought into her videos, and I appreciate that. And she does a lot of cooking. She's an excellent cook, and she eats gluten-free, but Mike doesn't, so she does double types of recipes. So if you are gluten-free, she can show you how to make things, and if you're not, or if you've got family members who aren't, then she'll give you the alternatives to making those as well. And it's like good food, good wholesome food. She doesn't buy cheap food. They eat well, but she plans all of their meals. She doesn't waste any food. And the activities that they do are either involved in renovating their French house, their cottage, or they are things like chopping firewood and growing vegetables and that kind of thing. It's a very wholesome sort of existence. So she gives the impression of always being really in control. And I don't know if that is true. And if she's watching this, she'll probably say, I'm not always in control. But she seems to be. And I watch her and think, oh, again, I'm inspired. I want to be like you. And I think a lot of people do think the same. And that's why they've got so many followers now. They're up to about 37,000 followers, which is amazing. I think when I started chatting to her, she was on about 3,000 or 4,000. So if you probably all subscribe to Frugal Queen in France, but go say hi anyway. Number 5 on my list is Nicola at the Frugal Cottage. Again, I kind of consider Nicola a friend, haven't met her in real life. She has been through a lot, and she's shared some of it with her followers. She's a single mum now of 2 children, and you know she's not afraid to show you how vulnerable she is at times and how much of a struggle life is sometimes. But she carries on. She just gets on with it, one foot in front of the other. And there have been times where many of us have been in a similar situation, and she's always still so sensible in her approach to money. I mean, she has to be, because she wouldn't cope if she wasn't. So she has a full-time job, she has 2 children, and she does the YouTube channel as well. And she also has a little range of merchandise that she sells on Etsy, all around budgeting and that kind of thing. So if you know somebody who you think, well, they could do with a little help, go and check out Nicola's Etsy shop. You can see, I think she links it from her channel. But she will show what she does in all that she has to do to manage, and she budgets to the nth degree. Again, she still manages to put a small amount away in savings. So even though her plans, her life hasn't gone as she intended and as she planned, and she obviously didn't intend to be a single mum, and she was at the point where they were paying off the mortgage, and she was investing, and she had a life plan, and it all went to pot. But she's picked herself up and dusted herself down and got the hell on with it. And what more can you do? And I really admire and respect her for that. So go and support her. She really is worth supporting. Subscribe, give her likes on her videos, and do head over and just check out some of her budgeting things. They're really, really useful. So anyway, those are just 5 of the channels I watch. I watch loads of channels. I watch loads of YouTube. Honestly, I could do without all of the other channels and just watch YouTube. I think it's brilliant. I love the real life aspect of YouTube. And I know sometimes that does mean that you might have to take some of the advice and some of the stuff that you read and you see rather on YouTube with a pinch of salt, because anyone can start a YouTube channel and claim to be an expert on anything. So, you have to be careful, but you can tell when someone's real. And I like the fact that all of these women are real people living real lives and sharing their experience. So I think if you're heading for the new year and thinking, I'm going to budget harder and save harder and I need some frugal inspiration, these 5 channels hopefully will kick you off. Anyway, thank you for joining me for day 10 of Vlogmas. Don't forget to give me a like and do subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Hopefully you do. And I will see you tomorrow for day 11 of Vlogmas. Bye for now.